tiny... This is not the track I was hoping to do now. For me, the point of this video series is really to do cover versions. It's to do songs that other people have heard of. I was planning on doing traditional songs from the beginning because I'm kind of obsessed with them. And I was planning on throwing in some of my own songs too at some point. But certainly not to start off with. But I'm kind of stuck at the moment. From when I first came up with this video series idea, I knew which song I wanted to start off with. And that is The Boy in the Bubble by Paul Simon. It just felt like a perfect introduction. It felt like, well, it's the song that kicks off his legendary 1980s album, Graceland. And it's about the wonder and the horror of the modern world. It was written in the 1980s. I feel like it's dated about 8 seconds. Such a great song. I was starting to kind of put together all these ideas of how I might cover it. But, yeah, then I tried to get the copyright, and I'll talk about copyright in a second and my kind of approach to copyright, but I tried to get the copyright, and the company came back and said, essentially, like, what's your upper limit? And I told them what the upper limit is, and they were like, yeah, okay, well, how about that, but 20% more? And I was like, I can't do that. Like, I have to budget for, you know, more than one cover version. So I just realized I couldn't do it. I mentioned this strategy to a friend, actually on the day that they got back to me. And she said, wait a second, are you getting like official approval for copyright for something on the internet in the year of our Lord 2023? Like, who does that? Just do it. And I understand that logic. But there's a couple of reasons why I want to do the legit approach. In the film Wall Street, Martin Sheen's character says that nobody who uses the word legit is legit, and that's probably fair. But like in this case, I want to do the legit approach. And the reason, there's 2 reasons really. The first reason is my like hottest and spiciest take, which is that I feel like it's worth paying money for cover versions. I feel like musicians should get paid. And yeah, copyright generally needs to be reformed, but I'm happy to work within the rules while the rules are as they are, even if they're a bit crap. So that's reason 1. Reason 2 is these videos are long. I don't want to pick a song, brainstorm ideas, record the audio, come up with a video concept, shoot the video, edit it all together, document the process, and then at the end of it, put it on YouTube and have the rights holders very reasonably say, nah, switch it off. So I want to try and get the rights clearance first. It takes time to get these rights set up, and I don't have another option, and I can just wait around for weeks, months, however long it takes to get the next one and the next one, the next one. Or I can just get started. So I picked one of my own songs, which is not a million miles away in tone from The Boy in the Bubble. It's called Already On to the Next Thing. I wrote it a bit before the pandemic. It was written about my sense of a kind of generational disconnect of the older generation, like my generation, just not really accepting that the world is on fire. Not really being prepared to acknowledge that the fundamental systems that govern society have been broken for a long time and are only getting worse. It's like they just feel like we've just had this really weird run of bad luck, of just unfortunate thing after unfortunate thing, but we can just stay the path, we can get back to the 90s. For me, like the metaphor I keep thinking of is, it's like we're all on the Titanic. Okay, we've hit a few bumps, but you can't be suggesting we change course, this course was set by a master navigator. It's complex, it's nuanced. Surely we can't change course. I'm like, change course, pal, the ship is sinking. And I feel like the response is, all right, well, where would you change course to? It's like, it's funny, I'm aware that I'm much more comfortable talking about cover versions than I am about my own stuff. I think one of the things about cover versions is I can talk about how the subject matter relates to me. If I wrote it, that's all there is. So I may end up talking more about the kind of nuts and bolts about how I kind of got it made. That said, I'm trying to say why this track. So I guess I feel like for so many people, songwriting is therapy of a kind. And whilst I do feel like straight autobiography in songs is not actually something I'm particularly interested in. I'm much more interested in trying to find out what emotion I'm feeling really strongly and maybe people around me are feeling really strongly and trying to articulate that. And this is like the front of mind thing for me. It's about anger, it's about frustration at slow progress. But it's also about the kind of somewhat liberating feeling of, all right, we've acknowledged there's a problem, or at least some people have acknowledged there's a problem. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's move on to the next thing. I'm not so worried about the actual music video side of things, but actually that's just because I feel like the problem of recording the track is the bigger challenge. I already did a version of it. I'll play a bit in a minute because I don't need to worry about the sound recording copyright. I'll explain why, but I wasn't happy with it. I don't think I did it very well. And part of the reason is that the song is about being frustrated. We're still doing the same old ideas that clearly don't work. We need a new approach. It's about the kind of the hunger for just something that's new. But if you want to express that in music, there's kind of an implied boast in that, which is like, oh yeah, I'm following all the new stuff. You guys are all just stuck in the past. If I'm making a song about, come on, new things, please, I have to deliver on that promise in the music myself. Like the music has to sound new to me. And that is a big challenge because for me, it has to sound new, but as ever, it has to be distinctive, it has to be coherent, and it has to sound good in a non-intellectual way. And doing something that it sounds new, but that sounds distinctive and coherent is the tricky bit. Again, as I said in the pilot video, I can just get a piano and go blah, 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 and make some noises no one's made before. Except for maybe the Muppets. The Muppets might have made those noises I just made, but like, you know where I'm getting at. But it will just be noise. It won't be something I find interesting. It's not about new sounds. It's about new ideas. And I have to capture that in a way that meets my own standards. I have to be able to listen to the track and then build a video on the track with the feeling that, okay, this is new. And this is commenting on that hunger for new ideas. So that's where I kind of see the challenge is. And yeah, I will come back to like, what is the emotion I'm trying to get? I want to capture the frustration that I've been feeling, and I know a lot of other people have been feeling, but I don't want it to be whiny. I don't want it to just be like, things bad, because, you know, we know that. I want to be like, okay, well, what do we do about that? I want to capture some sense of there are new ideas out there, possibly outside the bubbles that we make for ourselves and other people make for us. They're out there, we just need to find them.